Well, he may well be Joe Calzaghe is he is the present of British boxing. Is Amir Khan the future? Let's get more on his comeback. He says he's in the best shape of his career as he prepares to return to the ring on December the 6th. The Commonwealth lightweight champion wants to get his career back on track after that shock defeat to Braiders Prescott in September. Since then, Khan has sacked George Rubio and installed Freddie Roach as his new trainer as he bids to rebuild his reputation as one of the world's most promising boxers. Well, the former Olympic silver medalist will appear on the undercard at London's XL Arena when Nicky Cook makes the first defence of his WBO super featherweight title, and we now know that he'll fight the Dubliner Oisin Fagan.
You know, it could go either way. Like I'm kind of an honest type of person, and I'm not saying, like, all I'm saying is that Amir's an excellent boxer. He's brilliant and he deserves all the hype that he gets and all that. But it's definitely a great opportunity for me, and especially the time that it's happened is like it can go either way. I can either get an Amir backlash, where he's coming out obviously as strong as he's ever come to prove a point, or what would be most prevalent in my mind if I had just got knocked out in the fashion that I did would be going through my head. You know, he must have nightmares about that every second of the day. You know, so I'm thinking anytime he gets a good dig on that chin, he has to be thinking about it. You know, that's just fact of life. As with everybody, I put on a lot of pressure. You know, I'm not, as you said, I'm not a power puncher, but I'll give anybody a good go. I've given world champions a good go. You know, and I've been unlucky not to come out with wins in their hometowns against world champions. You know, so that, like, even though my amateur pedigree, I've only had 3 amateur fights. You know, I had to get in and do it the hard way. You know. And that's where a lot of my heart comes from, because I was a hungry man and I had to get in and get things done.
Oisin Fagan, the next man to face Amir Khan, just announced this lunchtime. Already got emails coming in. The sentiment seems to be, Steve, this is a good fight. Jeff Thomas has dropped in saying in terms of credibility this is better than he expected. Another viewer coming in, don't forget to give us your names, we'll give you a name check, saying that he expected Khan to face what he describes as a total tomato can. Says Fagan isn't that at all.
This is a sensational fight, and everybody in the Khan business needs to be applauded for this fight. Okay, they need to be applauded for taking a fight in London and not insisting on having Freddie Roach in the corner, a guy that he would have been training with for 2 months. He's been sparring with Manny Pacquiao, started on Monday of this week. Okay, so he's going to be in the corner with a new trainer. I'm assuming it'll be Dean Powell, fabulous Dean Powell, all the way from Dudley via the Elephant and Castle. He'll be in the corner with him. He was in the corner a couple of fights ago for Gomez. He did a fantastic job. I didn't like the way Dean was kicked aside and Rubio was pulled in like he was, you know, a saviour, which of course he wasn't, and anybody listening will know he wasn't. And then this guy came up with this guy Fagan, and it's an inspired choice. It's an absolutely inspired choice. He's stopped 13 of the 22 men he's beaten, but closer scrutiny tells you why he stopped them. But it's not his wins, and it's not the method of his wins that makes this guy stand out. It's his defeats. It's his points defeats against good fighters, and that's what makes this guy particularly good. Okay, fought a guy called Verquan Kimbrough, sort of a borderline, you know, contender, lost on a split just last year, and then before that he fought a guy called Paul Spadafora, who'd been, I think, the IBF lightweight champion before he rearranged his wife's face and had to go to prison, which is standard, and you should go to prison if you bash your wife up. So, and he lost both fights by decision. 22 rounds, 12 rounds and 10 rounds by decision. So this guy can go 10 rounds. He can stop you if he manages to get on top of you. But the thing that strikes me here is, and I hope this isn't the case, is Jorge Rubio chose a guy he'd seen in the gyms of Miami. He chose a guy who he'd seen spar with loads of people. Freddie Roach has always had a gym full of Scottish and Irish fighters. Yeah. I'm wondering if this guy, how much time he spent out with Freddie, if Freddie's seen him. So I'm hoping it's not the curse of a trainer's selection again, because this is a great choice. You know Freddie Roach too well. Freddie Roach would not make a decision like that. He probably wouldn't even involve himself in that decision. He wouldn't make that mistake. Here's the other thing. Freddie Roach isn't as big a mercenary as, say, Emmanuel Stewart is, okay? Emmanuel Stewart holds his hands out. Emmanuel Stewart will go anywhere anyone pays him and say basically anything anybody pays him to say. And he's a great coach, but he has, over the last 20 years, sold his soul far too often. Freddie doesn't sell his soul quite so cheaply. If Freddie I think Freddie wants to see Amir Khan in a bit of a test. Freddie doesn't want to see Amir Khan knock out a couple of fat super bantamweights and start having to say this guy's going to be, you know, a great fighter. Freddie wants to see him in a test. Get past this guy, and then perhaps the 4 sanctioning bodies who were so desperate to get Amir Khan inside their top 10 will be able to deservedly put him inside the top 15. Okay,
yep.
And I'll tell you one thing, Freddie Roach understands a fight when he sees a fight, and he'll insist on Khan fighting the winner of McAllister against John Murray. He'll insist on it. Carry on, Andy. Sorry for running a bit late.
It's all right, Steve. It's your show.
Yeah, well, you're involved as well. They love you, man. They love you.
We try. I should just point out as well one name on that record, Julio Cesar Chavez, who you can see, of course, on Tatanta this Sunday. The rematch against Matt Vander, that one. So don't forget.
That'd be lively.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Now, Bunty, there is a lot of glamour in boxing.